And we're going to kick this off. Now, I will be asking you questions throughout this process because I want to make this as interactive as possible. And I do want to walk away with some very key action steps for you progressing forward. Some of you are looking for tactics and strategies to generate clients very quickly. I'm going to go through some of those things through this process. I'm going to answer the questions on the questions doc. That document will always be in our Facebook group. If you have questions, type questions in because I'll address those questions here in the live trainings every week. And also I'll be addressing your personal questions and bringing you into these conversations so that we can maximize your learning and also the collaboration from the group. Thank you for joining the Facebook group. Make sure you introduce yourself to everybody. We've got a really nice intimate group in this particular group of Rocket, and it'll be nice for you guys and girls get to know each other as we go along, because you know, we're here not only just me encouraging you, but it's great to know that there are others who are with you along in the journey. And one of the things that's going to happen once we get into the 8th week of the training, I will be introducing you to an alumni group so that there will be some further trainings and further opportunities to learn so that you can grow. So it doesn't, you know, our relationship doesn't stop at the end of this iteration of this program. You will have other opportunities to engage, learn, and more importantly, apply from this program. So with that, let's get into our live training this week and get to the meat and potatoes. So every week I normally cover a particular topic or aspect of consulting, and also from the questions that I receive from you throughout the week, I will tailor these trainings. But today, as the introduction, you have basically things in the program that are going to be fed to you or drip fed to you. So the sales blueprint is drip fed to you over a 6-week period. The reason for that is because there are action steps at every step of the actual blueprint. So the idea is to walk you through the progressive structure of pitching. Now, that's not to say that you can't learn or access or pitch before the material arrives, because we have a lot of resources here and we're having a lot of live training here to also facilitate and add to what you're learning through the step-by-step content as we go through. I'm recording this. This will be placed in our Facebook group, so you'll be able to see if you're hearing that I'm scripting or positioning stuff or giving you strategy. You can review this directly in the actual live video that is in the actual group. If you do miss a week, put your questions into the question document. I will answer your questions so that you can go back to the training and the video and see the answers and the responses that you have to your questions. Try and be really specific with your questioning. A lot of people make the mistake of asking me very strategic questions, and that's just a natural thing to do, and there's nothing wrong with those types of strategic questions. But the problem with that is we're not dealing with probably the most important thing, and that is the mindset and the understanding of how we are communicating and engaging with customers. Because as a consultant, that's what you do. You speak to people. You're going to converse. They're going to listen to your expertise and your knowledge, and you're going to establish that. And the beauty of what I'm teaching you here is you're learning every time you generate a client. You are learning on your client's dime. Your client is investing in you not only to deliver results, but also to enhance your experience and your knowledge so that you can actually confidently move forward to your next client and next client as you grow this business. So along the way, I'm going to be really pragmatic. I'm going to ask you to do some really simple stuff, and I need you to follow through. If you can dedicate an hour a day at minimum per week towards building your business, then I know that you're going to generate clients. I know that if you invest an hour of income generating activity, that you're going to increase the chances. I'm going to be talking about selecting niches. I'm going to be talking about what you need to know about those niches. I want to talk about focusing on a core service to make an offer. I want to talk about knowing your stuff a little bit, knowing your market. It's really a key part of the process is that if you understand the frustrations, the fears, the wants and the aspirations of your customer base, it's going to make it so much easier, one, to reach out to them, two, to engage, and three, to be very relevant to those people. And then we're going to do a Q&A. So as we go, this is what happens when you apply this. I had Elton, who literally out of the gate, first campaign that he put out, picked up an appointment, got a client, got the management fee. He outsourced the work to our resource partner, one of our resource partners, which is Invisible PPC. And this happened literally within days of him starting. So he was already generating appointments. Now, he did know a little bit about the market he was targeting, and that's why he was able to fine-tune his message. But this is what you're going to learn as you go ahead. And we're going to be sharing our results along the way. We're going to be encouraging each other to make sure that we maximize the opportunity for each other. So let your niche choose you, or you choose your niche. Some people get really caught up and really tied in. My attitude towards niches are there are 10,000 of them. People often ask me which is the best niche to go after. And my response to that will be every niche. Every niche that needs to buy your services, basically, is the niche that you should be going after. Then it's like, well, what about the clients that actually have money to spend with us? So my next question is, how much money is that you want them to spend with you on what particular service that you're providing? Often people come to me and say, I want to get a really big client. I want to get a $10,000 a month client. Now, yes, you can get 10,000, you can get 20,000. We've had $100,000 a month clients. But here's the thing. It takes time and context and a process for you to be able to get those types of clients. So everybody wants to work with big clients. It takes as much time sometimes to sell a big client on a big contract as it does to sell a little client on a small engagement. The same amount of time investment is made. But the key here is that you're answering your clients' prospective questions, and more importantly, focusing on their objective and learning about how to get great results for your clients. Marketing is not an exact science. It is a science that you can measure. And for the very first time in the history of business, well, for quite some time now, you can measure a direct result to the effort and energy you put in as to the return that you generate. And there are very few areas, but marketing is one of those areas right now where you can pretty much analyze anything and everything that is directed to online, right? So, which gives us a huge opportunity. So we're talking about let's choose our niche, or let's our niche choose us. So oftentimes people say, how do you become an expert in a marketplace? It's really easy. You generate one client in that market, deliver your service to that market, understand what you've learned, and now you can go to the next person in the same market and offer the same service with the learning you've had. If I look at BPTM, the agency that I very closely partner with, we understand, we had to start with one client. 18 months ago, we started with one physical therapy client that invested in a funnel. And then from that one client, once we had that client set up their system, we then went to 4 or 5 clients very quickly in the market and said, hey, this is what we're doing. Do you want in on this? And so we got them to pay or invest in the actual development of the actual funnel. So we pre-sold a funnel to a group of people. From those 5, then we developed a system where we onboarded 30 clients every month, every 90 days running. And that's how we focus on generating 1.2, 1.3 million in sales every 90 days. So it all starts with one client, right? It doesn't start with 20 or 100 clients. It starts with one client. And then from 1, we go to 2. And from 2, we go to 3. And as we go along, we get better and better and better. We start to build our confidence. We increase our pricing. We get a great sense of, achieving the things that we want to do. And we actually start to experience a different level of lifestyle, because now we control our own income by doing that. So this is a process. So in niche marketing, or looking for a niche, sometimes rather than get caught up in who am I going to go after, let's just go after some businesses. And I'm going to talk to you about 3 key strategies closer to the tail end of this part of the training. Okay, so picking a niche market. So we do the who. We've got to do the who and the what. right? So, for example, if we were choosing accounting firms, we're looking at firms that have 5 to 10 partners. What we basically do: sales process, lead filtering, and email marketing campaigns. This would be a course, a service we're offering. So the 3 questions I'm going to answer for myself is: do I like them? Can I help them? And will they pay? To validate a niche market is really simple. Are they buying what I have to sell right now? Who are they buying that from? And how much are they spending? If I know that they're buying what I'm having to offer, I know that there is a validation in the market. So the proof of concept is already there. I don't really need a proof of concept to know whether or not AdWords works. I know AdWords works really well in pretty much every single market, because 95% of all searches begin with AdWords, right? We go to Google first, and then from there, 75% will filter into other channels that they're looking for, and then it filters down from there. So understand is my question is: do I like them? Can I help them? And will they pay? At the end of this training, if anybody's having a issue with niches, I'm going to walk you through exactly what you got to do. We're going to pick a niche. We're going to go after it, okay, to maximize your opportunity. So, mindset. How will I know what I have to offer will work for a client? It's very easy to validate. All we need to do is have a frame of reference of it working elsewhere, right? There are a myriad of case studies that I can go to know that Facebook ads work. There are a myriad of case studies that I can go to that I know that AdWords campaigns can work. And they don't have to be my case studies, although I have quite a few of them. They could be the case studies of my resource partners. They could be the case studies of other people's work where I'm actually sharing the idea or the strategy. But the number one thing that you need to know, and with mindset, is that it's very difficult for you to move forward if you aren't taking action. You've got to take the philosophy of do it and you'll become it, not fake it till you make it. Okay, we're going to go do it to become it. You need to go through the process. You're building a business. You have to know your customers. You have to know that your whole idea is to help them, right? This isn't a money grab. If you are into this business for a money grab, it's not going to work for you. If you're into this business to learn, to grow, to get results for your clients, to add value with what you do, then you're going to get a result. I was fortunate enough to have dinner with one of my mentors and people that I've admired in marketing for most of my life, and that gentleman's called Jay Abraham. And it's really interesting. The guy's, probably in his 70s right now, as sharp as a tack, works for some of the biggest corporations in the world, is sitting there telling me, John, preeminence, be of value, add value, focus on the value, and people will step up to the plate and pay you for that value. That's where you profit. So he has, and I'm going to recommend a particular book that I recommend to everybody that I work with to read this, because there's a chapter in that book. It's chapter 4. It's on preeminence. And the idea of preeminence is to position yourself at such a high value where people desperately want to engage you and work with you. It's a very simple philosophy. It's one where you can literally dominate when you apply this to your business. So mindset is, we're going to go through this. It's the biggest thing. It's 80% of pretty much everything, because the fundamental stuff, the step-by-step, the tactical stuff, all of that is relatively easy. It's our headspace that we have to change. We have to make some adjustments in our thinking. We have to reframe our experiences, our knowledge. We have to understand that those things that we believe may or may not be holding us back, that we need to address those and step through those, or not even through those. We just need to step forward. That's essentially what it comes down to with mindset. And so, if you focus on what you want, if what you focus on most, right, that becomes your relevance. Okay, so if we focus on the things that are not going to work, the things that are terrible, the things that are horrible, well, you're going to see a lot of terrible, awful things, right? But if we focus on, are we helping, are we nurturing, are we asking, are we moving forward, then you're going to experience a lot of that in your business. A lot of the stuff that I'm telling you is pretty common sense, right? It's really funny, even marketing is common sense, okay? So with that, you want to focus on one core service. So what I mean by one core service is, if you're doing websites for people, who are you going to build some websites for, and roughly what are the components of that website, and how is that website going to get a better result for your clients in terms of what they're looking for, instead of the one they've got right now. So how do we improve the gap? Do we do, so what's the ancillary as part of that core service? You might say, well, we can set up a lead capture. We can set up SEO strategies to optimize on page and off page. But your core service initially will be the website. If you're offering funnels, your core service is to build an automated sales process. So what is the action point for this funnel that you're building for a client? What is the process, the execution of the offer? What is the automation that's set up for that? If there's a campaign to follow that through, what is the workflow to make that work? That is a core service. If Facebook advertising is a core service, how do you deliver Facebook ads that generate a result for your client, whether it be patients, whether it be customers, whether it be buyers, whether it be commercial contracts, whether it be estimates? What is the core service that you're offering? The more you focus on one core service, the easier it is to grow. And two, the more you focus on a core niche, as you develop, that enables you to scale because you're not having to customize everything for everybody. At the beginning, you will do some of this. You will be doing some customizing for everything for everybody because this is part of your learning process. The idea is to go and get a client as quickly as possible, to have that experience of a sale, to have somebody put money in your bank account. Is a great exhilarating feeling for those of you who've not experienced that yet. Okay, so when I say focus on one core service, if for example, let's say you do funnels, you might say we do sales funnels for lead generation or appointment funnels for lead generation, and to get the traffic we use either AdWords or Facebook as part of that funnel. So we have a core, we've got the system and we've got the traffic to go through that. Okay, so know your stuff. You want to learn about your markets. I'm going to show you so many ways on how you can easily attain the information, knowledge, and understanding you need to progress forward, but you've got to learn your craft. I'm very good at sales process. I am brilliant when it comes to articulating how we can improve the effectiveness of a sales process to improve conversions to get better results. I have superpowers in that area. My other superpowers are in strategy. I understand from a customer's perspective, all the way through the experience of the buying behavior process, all the way through to the conversion, and then all the way through to the retention and seeing the scale and grow. So I'm a very strategic thinker. That is my superpower and skill that I've developed over many years. And this is why this has enabled me to teach others to become a little bit more strategic in the way they generate and open their business, to become more focused on the things that they need to be doing to honor their business. So you need to know your stuff. And I am constantly reading. I'm still reading, listening, learning, engaging, investing. I'm here at a conference for two reasons. One, to generate clients, and two, to learn what's new so that I can share that information and that knowledge with you so that you can improve and grow as well. So for me, this idea of knowing your stuff is an ever-growing, it never ceases. Even with Jay, who's been doing this professionally for over 50 years in his career, is still sitting at a table with people like myself, asking questions of me and learning from me, even to this day, on how he can improve, how he can tweak, how he can adjust, how he can question, how he can maximize the value, look at where the opportunities are. Even at 70 years of age, he is still reading, learning, investing, going to not just speaking at conferences, but actually going to conferences, spending time and buying. I call it pay to play. You want to play with the big boys, you've got to go and pay to play with the big boys, right? That's what you've got to do, so that they see you in their sphere of influence. And so what happens is it connects you. Now, do you need a lot of time, money, and resources to do that? No. There are many ways that you can pay to play, So you need to know your stuff. You need to master your skills. You need to understand how things work. And so you need to spend a little bit of time improving what you do. I cannot tell you one thing that I know for especially established agencies when they get to that $200,000 to $300,000 mark. One of the questions I ask is, how much money are you spending on ads right now? And the answer to that is zero. And I say, well, if you're in AdWords and you're not doing AdWords, how do you know? This is a way that you can acquire clients as well. So what do? Facebook, AdWords, direct mail, snail mail, email marketing. We've got different components to our marketing. We outsource our marketing. We get other people to market for us. Yeah. And then we do inbound marketing. So it is an ever growing field. The reason I'm telling you this is not to overwhelm you. It's just to help you understand that this is a journey. That your focus is, how do I help people? How do they get the best possible results? And making sure that I get the return, excuse me, of my time, excuse me again, of my time in the service you offer. Sorry, apologize for that. Sneezing in your ear. So, okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do as you go through the training is I'm going to ask you to map out a successful strategy. Now, this is actually in the training, but I wanted to share this. This, by the way, this mind map is not my mind map. This mind map belongs to a friend of mine called Keith Krantz. Keith Krantz runs a company called Dominate Web Media, and this is his mind map of what he believes to be a successful Facebook advertising strategy with a back end to marketing in his system. And so what he's done is he can literally walk through a client. It's not about how much the ads cost and how much money for advertising, what the management fee is. What he does is he sits down and shows the client that this is what it takes for us to get a successful campaign together, and there are components here that we're going to be testing, adjusting, and making sure that they work to give you the best possible results. We don't guarantee a result within 38 hours or a week or whatever. What we're doing is we're building a strategy so that you maximize your opportunity to consistently get your objective, and that is to either make a sale, get somebody to pick up a phone and call you, get somebody to fill in a form, or somebody to press the buy now button to buy your product. So one of the things that I suggest you do is map out your workflow or your strategy, a successful strategy. Now, some of you might be asking, John, I don't know what a successful strategy looks like. I'm glad you asked that question. What you're going to do is you're going to Google a successful AdWords strategy for a particular market. You're going to Google a successful Facebook strategy for a particular niche, or the workflow of a successful Facebook campaign. You will see lots of examples. So then what we're going to do is we will sit there and say, how do I apply this workflow to a customer? Because and I'll give you a classic example. Sometimes when I've done a sales process and I've just shown the workflow, I haven't had to show anything else. They look at that and they go, that's what I want. I want a system that automates that whole structure. That's what we need. How can we do that? I'll give you an example. One of the guys I work with, Rick, who has done this workflow, he literally mapped it out on Infusionsoft in their campaign builder. It's just a simple, drag and drop, and it's got like an email goes here and a thing goes here. And so you're mapping this automation up, right? And so what Rick does is literally, that's all he does. He says, listen, I've already built it. Here's the system. Here's the flow. This is how it works. Let me walk you through the chart. And he just walks in and say, okay, we start here, and this is what happens at this level. Then what happens is we filter those leads. Then what happens if these people don't buy? Then we actually have another campaign that goes and does this, right? And they literally just show this is how it works. And so the next question the client says, so how much is it going to cost us to put this in? Because we want that. We want that to work for us, right? Because right now we don't have a system like that. So one of the things in your action steps, in your training, is if you want to help people, remember the idea of teach people what you know. This is a really simple way to show people this is the essence of what we do. There's a workflow. It's like mapping out a successful strategy or a successful campaign. If I found a successful campaign, I'm going to go to the landing pages, I'm going to download the lead magnets, I'm going to look at the thank you page, I'm going to look at the emails, I'm going to look at the where the points are of contact. I'm going to look at the scheduling. I'm going to call the company and find out what they do and how they help people and just see. And then all I can do is I can literally, in a mind map, step out from beginning to end how they help people generate sales. Now, if it works successfully for one company, then I can go and say, hey, here's a company that's already doing what you think that you want to do or want to do. Can I show you the process, right? And so you're literally going there with a plan and saying, here's how it works, right? Now, I can do these things. Now, the beautiful thing is we have resource partners, and I'll talk about those in a moment. We have resource partners can do all of this for you. They will handle the fulfillment. They will give you the case studies. They will show you processes and systems and questions that you might need to ask to be able to help them to fulfill for your clients, right? So understand, if you map out a successful strategy, then what you're going to do is you're going to talk to this point. So whenever anybody talks to you about it, say, hey, I can show you a really successful strategy that gets an end result if you follow the bouncing ball, right? Can I show that to you? It's very rare that I have anybody say, no, I don't want to see a successful campaign and strategy and how it works, right? So do it and you'll become it. This is a mantra that, and in fact, what I'm going to do in the Facebook group, I'm going to give you a video to watch. It's only a short video, but it's from Amy Cuddy. Amy Cuddy did this very famous TED Talk, and it's about presence. And in it, she talks about the concept of that she felt like a fraud. She's a Harvard professor. She was unfortunate early in life to have a very serious accident that nearly took her life. And she struggled. She struggled with going to school. She struggled with going through junior college and college, but she got into Harvard. She actually got into Harvard, then she became a professor at Harvard, and she felt like a fraud because she felt like she didn't belong. She wasn't like these Ivy League families who have invested all their money into helping their kids get into one of the most renowned schools in the United States, right? She felt like a total fraud as a professor at Harvard. And one of the things that she says, and this is why I'm going to encourage you to watch the video. At the very end, she tells a story of a student that comes in and is actually distraught and upset because the student believes that they're a fraud and they don't belong in Harvard. They don't belong. They don't feel like they fit in to Harvard, although she got the grades, did the work, got accepted into Harvard. So she did belong there. She was part of that community, but she felt like she didn't deserve to be there, right? And in that moment, Amy pretty much burst into tears because in that moment she felt exactly the same way as the student. And in that moment, she realized that she didn't fake it along the way. She says, you know, sometimes you got to fake it till you make it. But she didn't fake it till she made it. What she did was, and she says it right at the last 5 seconds, I think she realized what she said. She says, you do it and you'll become it. It's only when you take the actions, when you do the steps, when you go through the process, when you get the feedback and the learning, that's when you'll succeed. You know, it's really funny. Nick Foles, who is was the second string quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles, on the day of the Super Bowl, when he was asked at a speech, he said, you know, what do you attribute your success? Remember, Nick Foles did not start the season out for the Philadelphia Eagles. He came in just before the playoffs to come in, and he took them to the Super Bowl. He took them to win that game against one of the greatest teams in the history of the game, the New England Patriots. And this is what Nick Foles said. He said, my biggest learning lesson, my biggest teacher is all the failures that I've made in life. All the failures along the way, all the times where I didn't complete a pass, all the times that I didn't complete the rushing yards, where I didn't hand off correctly, where I didn't help the offensive drive, where I made the wrong calls, the thousands and thousands of calls that I made that were wrong. He said, only in my failures did I learn what I needed to improve on, what I needed to move forward on. It's what defined him as a person, that he understood that from his failures, it wasn't learning from his failures, it was learning from what actually worked so that he could compound his experience of the success that he's achieved, because those experiences defined who he is as a person today. So his number one attribute or acknowledgement is that he has understood that he has been able to get the feedback that he needs to improve from the failures that he has had in life. A friend of mine, Andrew Warner, said to me, and the reason I'm sharing this with you is so that you understand that we are all human, we all have desires, and we all want to play a better game. We all want more for ourselves. I sometimes want more for the people that I work with than they want for themselves. But the thing is to find that in yourself to step up, and you've made that decision to start a business in this process. So I mentioned a friend of mine, Andrew Warner, who runs Mixergy. And one time Andrew and I were having a conversation, and he was mentioning an interview that he was doing on another friend of mine's podcast. And my friend asked him, look, if you were to sit there and talk to anybody in business, what would you tell them? What would you say to them? And Andrew said, he thought about it for a second because he could have given any cliche or any platitude. But when he said this thing, and I reminded him of this because it inspired me to just think a little differently or do something different that I hadn't tried before. But he said, this is exactly what he said. He said, you know what? He said, if you want to succeed in the game of business, you've got to get out of the bleachers. You've got to hop over the fence. You've got to hop onto the field, step on the mound, pick up a bat, and swing away. You've got to swing. Now, are you going to hit the ball every time you swing? No. Now, here's the thing. Babe Ruth, the most successful home run hitter of the game, and historically has not been beaten in his world record of 647 home runs in his career. You know, however, here's the statistic. Babe Ruth went to bat 300,000 times in his career in professional baseball. Over 300, in fact, I think it's about 360,000 times that he went to bat. But he only scored 647 home runs out of 360,000 times that he swung that bat. And the thousands and thousands and the millions of times he swung that bat in practice. It is no different from anybody who is starting or growing a business. You've got to play the game because that's where you're going to learn. You've got to get over the fence. You've got to stand up on the mound and you've got to take that 85 mile an hour or that 100 mile an hour pitch and just swing and hope and pray and even focus and get better at swinging and making sure that eventually you'll connect. And when you connect with the ball, does it turn out to be the best connection every time? No, right? However, it is a result. It is a piece of feedback that will help you. This is one of my favorite sayings. Do it and you'll become it. It's one thing that I've shared. It's one thing that I believe in. And every person that I've ever worked with and every person that I've ever been mentored by and even my coaches have often told me, you're only going to learn when you apply. Okay. So things that I would do. I want to talk to the market ASAP. I want to talk to businesses about what's going on. So one of the things that I recommend you do is if you know somebody in business, right? You know somebody who's in business or a friend or a colleague, or perhaps you know somebody who knows somebody's in business. I want you to go and talk to them about how they got into their business, what they like about their business, what they don't like about their business, how are things going sales-wise, what do they do to generate sales, what do they do marketing-wise, what type of advertising, promotion, do they measure, what's the sales process, how does a customer make a decision to buy their product, why should people buy their product? I want you to start talking to business owners about business. And it would be great if you could talk to one a day, would be a great goal to go for. But just to start this week, I want you to talk to a person who owns a business with the idea of just understanding what they're going. You say, listen, I'm in business and I work with business people all the time, but I just want to talk to you about your experience in the business that you've chosen. What got you, how did you start? What got you into this? What were some of the milestones? What were some of the learnings? And then you can steer the conversation. How do you get clients? What do you think of online right now? How much of your business do you believe comes from online? The idea is to ask these types of questions so that you can learn how businesses work. Because the more you understand about how they work, the easier it is for you to sell for them. And here's the fun thing that always happens out of this scenario. When you start asking people questions about their business, inadvertently they feel obligated to ask you about yours. And that is the most dangerous question anybody can ever ask you, is what is it that you do? Because somebody's going to pull out a credit card if you get it right, and it isn't going to be you, it's going to be them. Right. So oftentimes when you take an interest in people, it's one of the fastest ways that they will take an interest in you. Okay. We want to find some pain points. We want to see the frustrations that are going on in the market. Now, Google has given us the ability to get answers very easily, but I would rather listen to the pain points from the mouths of the people that I want to work with, from the people that I'm talking with, because they're the people that are going to give you the message to fine tune or hone in to how you communicate with your market. I talk about Richard Fong, and the reason why Richard Fong does this brilliantly is because when he first started out doing the whole, his first outreach was like cold email. Like, he hated the telephone. He didn't want to call anybody, didn't want to talk to anybody. He hated cold calling completely. So he figured he would just send emails, and hopefully one of these emails will bounce back. And every now and again he would get a response from the emails that he sent out. But then he started to sit down and realize what was going on in the exchange. So instead of asking questions about their business and stuff like that, he would ask them questions about, so why isn't this a fit for you? Why are you not? I just want to understand why this isn't of interest to you. And so people would think about their answer. And some people say, you know what? Actually, it is of interest. I'm just kind of busy right now and I'm just trying to fob you off, right? But, yes, it's important. Let's have a chat, right? And so he would find out through the conversations with people and slowly start to formulate his campaigns. It didn't take him very long. It only took him a matter of weeks. But before you knew it, his conversion rates were like 60 to 70% in opens. His appointment rate was anywhere between 5 and 8 appointments would come back saying, I want an appointment with you. And then it got even higher, where he hired an appointment setter who was generating 15, 25 appointments a week for Richard. And this is how he grew or scaled his business very, very quickly, because he spent time understanding the pain points of how to reach into his market. A lot of the stuff you can Google in terms of the market. It's easy to find out the pain points within industries, because you just find common frustrations of whatever niche or whatever business, and somebody has written an article or something about it, right? So if you understand a pain point in relation to what you want to offer or you're interested in offering, then we're going to create a solution. You can say, okay, this is how we solve the problem. And how we solve the problem will be your mind map. That'll be your workflow that you want to develop. Then you want to get some feedback. You're going to offer it to people. Say, hey, can I show you something that actually works to get the result? I'd love to know perhaps what you think about it, or where perhaps you might see the benefit, or where it needs to be tweaked, so that you're working in collaboration with somebody and teaching them what you know, where they turn around and say, hey, this would be really cool. Can you do this for us? Right? And then we want to offer it to the market. We want to go, if we're going to people initially in our small sphere, but then we want to take that and offer it to the market. By doing that, we maximize our opportunity to start to scale and grow. Now, I know this is a lot to take in, and we're going to get to some meat and potatoes in just a moment, but understand that you're learning how to build a real business, right? To generate revenue, to build your opportunity. So, most important things: live in your calendar, not your email. Biggest mistake a lot of people make is they have the email on all the time. Don't have your email on all the time. Have your calendar open. And if you've got a whole bunch of white spaces, guess what? You're going to have to fill those white spaces. And the first thing that you want to be filling your white spaces with is income generating activity. So you want to have a space in your calendar where you focus on income generating activity only for your business. And that will be 1 hour that you need to put. Now, what is income generating activity? There are many people will look for the easy way out of income generating activity, where they look for incidental things that they think will contribute to a sale. To me, income generating activity, and if you look at the video on income generating activity, the primary income generating activity is physically talking to another human being about how you can help them. That is the primary income generating activity. So if you had 1 hour to do that per day, where you were either opening the door to engaging or making an offer to engage every single day, you're going to generate clients, right? Appointments, presentations. These are the things we're going to be working on now and in the coming weeks to maximize your opportunity to grow. All right. So, actions. We want to find 2 pain points in a market, any market, or just in business in general, right? We want to create a solution with a mind map and post it in the Facebook group, because we're going to share this, and we're going to start making offers for appointments on how we help people get a result with our mind map. Okay, so contact and offer channels. There's a couple of things that I would do here. First of all, I always start with a familiar list. I want to educate people I know that I'm in business. I'm actually, you want to let people know. It's so often people sit there and forget that the very people that are around you, family, friends, extended family, contacts, those sorts of people can open the door to a client and a prospect. So many people, about 70% of the people that I know that have gone down this path have picked up their first client from people they already know, right? Now, some of you might be struggling with the idea, well, I kind of don't know anybody in business. But when you actually start to think about that question of who you might know in business, you'll be surprised at how big that list can get. And when I say big, a list of 5, a list of 10, some people can get a list of 20, okay? Think of the things that you engage. Think of the businesses that you go to. Think of the businesses that you've gone and spoken to where you've purchased something. And you might have had contact or communication with the owner of the business that you were buying from, right? You already have a familiar contact list. So what I want you to do is I want you to let people know what you're doing, right? There's a few examples of emails in the email folder. Let people know what you're doing. Let them know that you've started this business or that you're in this business. And the reason why I get people to do this is the more you tell people what you do, the easier it's going to be for you to share how you help people. The more you start to explain to people what you do, the easier that's going to roll off your tongue. You want to create an offer. Now, what you do on the whole cold email contact, you can do in social media. You can ask a question in Facebook. You can ask a question in Twitter, in LinkedIn. What I want you to do is I want you to go and join 1 or 2 actual business groups on Facebook, not internet marketing groups, right? Business entrepreneur groups. Look for an entrepreneur or a business group in your city, in your location, or in your state first. Then look for look for other groups that are out there, right? There is plenty of business Facebook groups out there that you can actually join with business owners. And what I want you to do is I want you to one, look for what piece of value you can offer those people. I'm going to give you some examples of some of these and post them in the Facebook group just to give you perspective so that you can go out there and make an offer. The same cold email that you write and say, hey, one of my favorites is if you're doing Facebook ads, hey, does your Facebook ad campaign suck right now? Can I look at it for you? Tanner, one of the guys that I work with, generated $20,000 worth of clients in 1 week. $4,000 a month in ad management purely by putting a post on Facebook saying, hey, does your Facebook ad campaign suck right now? And would you like me to take a look at it? I'm more than happy to help. He was offering the value to help, right? And got people putting their hand up saying, yeah, I need help. My Facebook ads suck. We're not being able to make it work. Our in-house team doesn't understand what's going on. I'm not sure, right? And in doing that, he generated clients. The third thing, generating a list online. If you follow the training, if you follow the process, and you know it's not hard to find the list, you want to scrape the list. If you follow the action steps in the automation of email and setting up that system, it'll show you how to get and scrape lists from the actual market. So, one thing that I recommend, and again, this is a book that Jay Abraham wrote many years ago, but it's called Getting Everything You Can Out of All You Got. Every person that I've consulted to, I encourage to get this book. Now, you don't have to buy it. What I will do is I will put a PDF link so you can get a free copy of this book, and I'll put that in the Facebook group so you can access it. But here's the thing. This is your reading homework for the next couple of weeks. I would highly recommend that you read this book because what it talks about is the fundamental aspects of not only just growing your business, but how you can help apply your strategies to help other people grow their business. So we're at the Q&A part of our training. I'm going to engage you in this and answer questions for you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the questions that were asked in the question doc that you will have available, and then I'm actually going to bring you in on this call and answer your questions in this live training. So I'm just going to hit escape here. We're just going to go and open up to the questions. And so some of you have already asked questions of me here in this particular document. So somebody was asking me, I seem to like the niche of high ticket coaching and suggest that you could help make a lot of money, that I could help make a lot of money there. Was that just a generic comment there, or do I have an affinity for this niche myself? I know this niche because I'm in this niche. So whoever asked this question about engaging high ticket coaches for business, my question is what you've got to offer. What are you offering these people? how they benefit from what you do, and I can show you where you can get a ton of them. I can show you again access to them. I can show you how to actually get them to say yes to you, because this market is a massive market. And the other beautiful thing about the high ticket coaching, high ticket consulting people in the market is that they've got lots and lots of clients. So if you do a great job for them, sometimes that can spill over into niche markets, especially ones that work within niches. So not only can you perhaps generate a client in this market, but you might even generate clients throughout the niche. Is there any opportunity to talk to me individually if I run through any sticky situations? This is where you talk to me individually if you run through any sticky situations. If you post a question in Facebook, I'll do a Facebook Live and answer your questions. But the reason I want you to engage with me here is because I can share this with the group so that you can all learn with this. In terms of doing one-on-one with me, that is a significantly increased investment. That's what my Consulting Champions members have to me. But this is going to be just as good and just as powerful and just as responsive as if you're working with me one-on-one, because I will bring you onto the calls and walk you through. There are no real sticky situations. There are only situations where you're looking to actually progress forward in what you're doing. The sales process blueprint is drip fed to you week by week. It isn't. You're not getting all the blueprint in one hit. The reason why is there are action steps at every step through the process, and it walks you through step by step. But you're going to learn through this process. The done for you thing on Sunday was not part of Consulting Rocket. It was purely a session that I did for those people who wanted to experience what it was like to have some stuff done for them. This question here: I run a LinkedIn generation service that I outsourced to third party. I hired a VA for 5 months that helped me connect to 6,000 plus connections in LinkedIn, CEOs, directors, VP, sales, etc. SaaS industry. But out of that, I only had 3 appointments. So naturally, the system that you utilized, whoever's written this, hasn't been working. But I can certainly, if you've got a list of 6,000 people, I know how you can get some revenue out of that 6,000 people, because this list needs to be engaged. So I'm going to show you ways, Miguel, into actually accessing your list. So next question. There are several associations in my niche. None have members visible. If I join the association, I'm likely to get access to the names. Given the cost of each association, and it may be worth it, I'm resistant just to pay to join. You don't have to join. What you can do, if there's find a person or a member in the niche, if there's a directory, you can actually get a scrape bot to scrape the actual website. Then what you do is you go and give that scraped list to somebody like on Fiverr or on Upwork and say, hey, I want to find the decision maker for this. I generally find that for a contact name, I'm probably paying about anywhere between $25 to $35 for 50 to 100 actual accurate names. I would highly recommend that the idea is you want to find the decision maker in this process. Okay, so in this process, so somebody's typing in here in real time in the question thing. This is a question you can answer in live now when I engage you directly. If whoever's typing this out, you've been invited to do a photo shoot at a Chamber of Commerce event for 400 women leaders. Awesome. Any strategy? So when you say you've been invited to do a photo shoot, you're a photographer. You're a photographer? Yes, you're a photographer. Yes, on the side, but I offer marketing. Okay, SEO and social, etc. Awesome. Okay, so are you being paid to do these photographs? That's my first question. Are you being paid? Okay. Mm. So what are you going to do with the photos? Actually, whoever's typing this out, let's do this live. Let's do this live. Okay. So these are so far the questions. As I said, you know the structure. You can answer your questions here. I'll answer your questions every week as part of this process. But now let's do this live. So I'm going to open this up. We're going to go to our Q&A section, and this is where we work with each other live. So whoever was typing that into the question document, just say me, and I'll unmute you, and we can talk about it. Eugene, awesome. Okay, Eugene, I'm going to open you up here. Eugene. Hey, Eugene, how you doing?
Great. Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome. Okay, so you have gotten your way in with an association president to take photos of 400 entrepreneurial women in this business group. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And essentially, you said that you just give them the photos. Yeah.
Correct.
Why did he or she want the photos?
Yeah, they're going to go on their newsletter on Facebook.
Hmm. Awesome. So they want to post that as part of content to promote their group. Yes.
Yeah, just the chamber, and because people are paying for tickets, these women are paying for tickets, and it's just to
Yeah.
show success of the event.
Awesome. Okay, so can you help them with in your editing? Can you put like banners and tags, like use maybe Canva and create some memes or Instagram images for them?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I did just
Yeah.
want to go straight, but I could, yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I'm saying is yes, okay, give the photos. But yes, you're doing them a favor, but it's your time here, right? The
Mhm.
challenge that you've got is that people are going to look at you as a photographer, not a marketer, right? You're
Yeah.
the photographer at the event. What you
And,
need to be making sure is that the president is going to say thank you to you, right? And say, hey, we've brought in your name, right? You to come and do photos and to help us with some of our social media. If you want to talk to Eugene about social media, make sure you go and grab a card from Eugene, right?
mhm, mhm.
So,
Yes.
so he needs to acknowledge you, or she needs to say, "Look, can you just let people know, right, that I'm just here helping you with photographs for your social media to share the group to grow the group. But if you can just let them know if they need any social media help, if they have questions about curating content or creating social media strategies using content and images, just to go and speak to Eugene. Make sure you speak to
Okay.
Eugene, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's one way of the president exposing you to the group. The other thing that I would do is if you're doing photographs of people, you want to make sure that they know that you're branding brand the photograph with your tags. Yeah,
Hmm. I don't know if
right.
they'll need to do that, but
Sorry.
okay. I don't
Well,
know if
you can say, hey, these are photographs we're providing, and these are images of your members, and they need to be tagged. Yeah,
they'll.
right. Because there's intellectual property here. These are images that nobody else can produce or sell. Yes,
Well, I'd
right.
really say I would just give them into them. So I don't know if I could. You were saying put a logo on it, my logo on it or
Well, you
something?
can. Even if you can have a watermark on it, if you can put an innocuous watermark
Okay.
on the image, if you can, right? If not, if they can just let them know where the photos came from, or if they'd like, uh,
Yep. Yes. Okay.
another copy of where they can get the copy of the photograph. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
that way, or the other way to do it is if you want a copy of your photo, right? Or if you want your photo, just go to theassociation.com/Eugene. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
here's a page. Or you can go, hey, so what's the name of your business, Eugene?
Premier position.
Premier Position. So if you go to premierposition.com/ whatever the name of the entrepreneur group is,
Hmm.
or you can actually get direct access to the photos that were taken today. So you can make that offer. If you want to get the photos, so then they can just type in their name and their email, and then they can look for the photos and they can download, and you can give them the place to download the photos. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. And then once I get that information, what do I do with it?
Yeah, now you got the list, right? So now you can sit there and say, hey, are you using Instagram? Are you using social media? Are you using, have you thought of using social media as a strategy to generate more visibility for your website or more people to come to you to find out what you're doing? If you want to know more about how you can develop a strategy on how to attract more people on Facebook or engage more customers through Facebook, I'm going to give you a call and I can answer any questions you got you
Mm.
know. I talk to
Okay.
business people all the time, and one of the things that I know is that business people want to engage other business people. So if I know the types of customers that you want to attract to your business, I can show you strategies on using social media on how you can attract those customers. Yes?
Okay.
So
Yes.
that's your strategy in. So your hook is to say, hey, let the president know. Look, if they want copies of the images and the photos that have been taken from the event, go here, and you can download them for free, and you can have all the images you like. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try that.
So
Sure.
you can use. You've got to have a hook. You can't just rock up and say, yeah, I'm going to take your photos. I'm going to put this on the social media, right? You've
I
offered
was
this
gonna,
service.
yeah, I
Sorry.
was gonna take their business card or try to chat them up while after I take the photo. So I'm kind of
Yeah, you got to be careful about that because now you got to think of logistics, Eugene. Think about a whole. I was at an event last night where we had the big board and they were taking big photos, and there were literally people lined up one after the other taking photos, and so there was no way that anybody could chat to me. Yeah.
okay.
Are you going to do the walk-in red carpet thing? That type of photo? Do they have banners and stuff?
Yes,
Yeah. So you're going to set up the photo shoot with lighting.
they don't. I mean, they don't. No, I'm not gonna do lighting. It's enough.
So
Just
you're just going to shoot with camera.
yeah.
Okay, all right. So maybe on entrance, suggest to the president that they take a photo of every single person that comes in when they're entering into the room. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
that way they can have, because generally entrepreneurial women will dress up. They're all going
Yeah.
to dress up, right?
Yeah.
Because they all want to look good for each other, right?
Okay.
Okay, they all want to look like they're professional, and they want to look. They're all going to be made up, and they're going to have their makeup, and so it's not often that women will get the opportunity to have a photo like that. So you're giving them a perfect opportunity to have a photograph that they'd like to have of when they're looking their best.
Okay.
Yes, right.
That'll.
So that's another way. If you want a photo, you can go here. They're all free, right? The photos from here you can download, you can use them, you can have them. They're all free. Yeah,
I
but
print something out in advance to give to these women as they walk in, so that I don't. You know what I mean? So here, go here. Here's the link.
well, you
Here's the.
can go if you want. You can say if you want the photos, just have your name. Don't go into too much detail, but
Okay.
you might go to you can go to Vistaprint or you can go to Staples wherever for $19. You can have one card printed. Like
Right.
you can have 250 cards printed for $19 in 2 hours. Like you can go to Instaprint online or Staples Print online, download a template, put your URL on the card, so it says your name, your service, and on the card it might say get a copy of your photo or get your photos for free. You can download all these photos today for free from here, and you can say, look, if you want your photograph, you can go and get it from here for free. I'm going to upload them in the next 24 hours.
Okay. Excellent.
That's another way. That's a perfect way to encourage them
Yeah.
to go and grab the
Yeah.
photo. Okay. So if you want the next 24 hours, if you're interested, you can get the photo. I'll just print it up. If you want this photograph, you can get it from here. Okay. So
Thank you.
then you've got a list of people. Then you can go, hey, you're an entrepreneur. Social media is very powerful. We can actually make an offer. We cool?
Yes. Okay. Got it.
You've got a perfect strategy there, Eugene.
Okay.
All
Thank
right,
you.
man. Thanks for being on this, and thank you for sharing. So, next person who wants to ask me a question. Um, ask away. If you want to ask me anything that I've just shared, if you want to ask me about a tactic you want to go out to there with the market to right now, let's build it right now. Let's do it. I'm right here in front of you. Just go me, and I will answer your questions directly. I can see you all in here, which is great to see. Curtis, I got you here. Eric Bell, John M, John Wiberhorst. I hope I'm pronouncing that Wibenhorst. Michael, Miguel, Nish, Eric. Awesome. Let's go, Eric. I'm going to unmute your microphone. Okay. I'm going to answer your question, Eric Severance, in a moment, but I'm going to talk to Eric Bell first, and let's unmute. Hey, Eric, how you doing?
I'm good, John. How are you?
I'm really good, man.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
ask your question. Let's roll it out for you from a strategy point of view.
All right. Well, just at a moment, this was something that you touched on a couple weeks ago in one of the, one of the talks that you had. You
Yeah.
talked about in the shoe biz, you thought that hot or not was a current tactic being used well and being received well in the marketplace, right? Hot or not. Great.
Yeah.
So do you know of any automation going on Facebook that would allow a company in real time to set up, to set that up? And I'm asking you just, because you might know a tool out there doing it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to share how this strategy worked for one of the consultants I worked with. Okay.
Sure.
So she did the same thing because we're talking fashion. Okay. And we're talking, we want to go to the people you want to work with are e-commerce sites. Yeah. And also retail stores in the shoe industry. Yes.
Right.
And either designers or independent retailers. It doesn't matter who, but a lot of these people are spending a ton of money on marketing online, and they know Facebook and advertising and all that sort of stuff are a very powerful medium. So what you want to do is you want to start a group, a Facebook group, and you can pay you can call it, and I don't know if this is available as a domain, but I'm putting this up as an idea. For those of you listening to here, think about the strategy and think about how you might apply something similar, or in using this part of the concept. So the concept of hot or not is it's an immediate response, and it's a very engaging thing, right? People go hot, not, right? So you'll post one, 1, 2, hot or not, and then people go, oh, I like one's hot, or I like two's hot, right? So all you're doing is you're posting an image of 2 shoes per day, right? 2 fashion shoes per day. Okay. You can talk about the brand, you can talk about whatever, but what you're trying to do is you're trying to build an audience. Okay. So you want to pay like $5, not much more, or $10 a day for a little bit to get people voting on hot or not on your shoes, right? You want to boost a post of hot or not out into the marketplace. You want to pick an audience, women 45 to 55, or 40, or women, 25 to 50, who are into fashion. So you can actually get a perfect audience on this, right? So what my friend did is she did hot or not wedding dresses. Now she doesn't make wedding dresses. She doesn't sell wedding dresses. She doesn't. She's not a fashion commentator or anything like that. But she did the hot or not on wedding dresses. Um, with famous wedding dresses, and within about 6 weeks, she had over 30,000 people commenting hot or not on the wedding dresses. So then she went to the wedding dress manufacturers or the retailers and said, listen, I've got 30,000 women who are saying voting hot or not, and here are the designs right now that are all hot. Do you have designs and styles like this? And so that we can offer this to the market, and we can use this as a marketing channel for your business. And this is where she charged them a monthly fee for that particular service. They did so well that the site actually was bought from her and taken over and branded into another area. But the thing was getting people to respond so they can go to a market and say, listen, we know what hot shoes sell, right? So if you've got hot shoes that fit these styles, let's talk about how we can promote your hot shoes. You got
And
it?
that's what I do. And when you said by the domain name, they started with Facebook ads and then took them off to a separate domain. Is that what you're
Yeah,
suggesting?
yeah. So they would say, this is the like, so they, in their case, and I'm just trying to remember the URL, but I think it was hotornotweddingdresses.com.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure. But if hot or not shoes .com is available, right?
It doesn't
And
matter if it is or isn't, though, John. I mean,
yeah,
a
yeah,
name with whatever the top level domain is, that's unimportant as long
it
as you
could
get
be,
the name, so you move them off.
exactly. It could be
Right.
hotornot.io. It could be
Exactly. Dot
hotornot.co.
site. Dot this.
Um,
It
yeah.
doesn't matter at
It
all.
doesn't matter at all.
Right.
But what you're doing is you're very quickly creating a strategy of uh, um, authority within a market, right?
Right. Right.
Which means you can go to the shoe people and say, listen, I got 21,000 people that love shoes,
Right.
right? But can I show you how to market your shoes to 21,000 people? Can I show you how I did what I did in the 6-week period so that we can sell more shoes? and develop the strategy with you, where you can run a Facebook campaign directly to product, directly to e-commerce site, directly to buy now. Yeah, right.
Got it.
So all you're doing is you're using, this is a really cheap, by the way, you could do this like in a week. You don't need to, this doesn't have to take weeks and weeks and weeks. What you want to do is just build a bit of momentum. This thing went viral because for whatever reason, the audience loved commenting on the dresses. Like
Mm-hmm.
they'll go, it was just this, and this, by the way, this idea, this business was born because they just wanted to try something. This was a test,
Yeah.
right? And the
Right.
test very inexpensively turned out to be something very, very successful, right? So, and Hot or Not is a, again, a very, it's a very judgy thing, very judgmental thing, and so people have this thing about being picky and hey, I like this is hot and that's not, and then some people give their reasons for it, right? So at the beginning of your post of Hot or Not shoes, you can say, hey, we want to find out what's hot and give you hot shoes, yeah. We want to show you we can get access to awesome hot shoes. You can go to an e-commerce provider and say, hey, let's partner up and let's go and sell some shoes. Yeah.
Right.
There's so many angles to what you're doing in what you're trying to achieve here, Eric, in what you're doing. There's so many different ways to spin this. I like the way of, hey, I've built an audience and this is how I've done it. We could do the same thing for you. When was the last time you put 7,000 people on your Facebook group who are interested in your shoes? Let me show you how to do it. And you can charge a premium for that.
Right.
Because it means that you're engaging an audience as a service. It's phenomenal, right?
Right.
Okay, and you can manage that whole process and charge a significant amount of money for that service because ultimately it turns into buyers. If you've got the right shoes and you do the right deal in an offer and a campaign for the shoes, then you're going to make sales. You're going to do well. The very thing that the e-commerce store wants is a very cost-effective buyer generation strategy. Yeah.
Right.
Right. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, that definitely does. Giving me a lot to think about.
Yeah,
Thank
I
you.
would just go for it because to me it's not a difficult thing to start up. Like it's
No.
not a difficult thing to go out there, and it's
No.
extremely cheap to
Right.
run.
Right.
Like all you're doing is getting people liking the page and starting to comment, and the audience is for the shoe site for the shoe sites. It's the perfect audience.
Right.
So it's not going to be hard to engage customers. Yeah, you can even rent the site.
Yes. Yeah, I realize that.
You can even rent the site. I mean, I've had that strategy. Well, where we do it now. We know that this thing works, so let's rent the site to you.
Right.
The
And
guy
as long as they keep paying for the site, it's theirs. Otherwise, you can switch to someone else.
exactly.
No
You
one
know,
knows and no one cares.
no, Rick Avelin, one of the guys that I work with, took this idea, this strategy that we're talking about. He
Yeah.
would look for a non-competitive, not a high competitive, but in the local market for a specific service, right? And then what he would do is he would take, let's say for example, and this was in Australia, but he also did in the US. But there's a city in Australia called Geelong. It's in the southern part of the country. There's about 1 million population, so it's a sizable city. And so he chose family law, divorce lawyer, right? And so he basically had a site, it was a WordPress site, very basic, and it was, divorce lawyer Geelong, right?
Hmm.
And so then he optimized it, very, very like really simple stuff. That he optimized this page, created a little video for it, had it done on, used a service called Animoto that created a really simple video. And all it was is if you need help with family law, or if you need help to ask questions about perhaps what you need to know about going through the divorce process, just fill in this form, right? Now, he built the page, ranked the page. It took him 48 hours to do this. It was a strategy that I taught. 48 hours to rank the page. It was on the first page of Google, first position within 48 hours, and it stuck because of the way the method of SEOing the system, right? And because it was not a high competitive word, it was a key phrase. It was very easy to rank, right? And we use Google's own strategy to rank the site. So we put it up there, and he spent $5 driving traffic to it, like just basic stuff. He got a free credit for $100 for the domain and started running traffic to the site. And of course, people would start to leave their details. And so then he would ring lawyers in the local market and say, listen, I just kicked this thing off. I've already got people who are interested in needing a family lawyer. Can I refer these customers to you? Before I do, I need to let you know where we're getting these customers from. And if you're interested, we could be sending you, dozens and dozens of customers every week. Yeah. And so 5 lawyers out of the 20 that he emailed in the local market came back and said, yeah, we want to have a look at this. They looked at the site, they looked at the fact that people were opting in. And so he said, okay, you've got 2 choices. You can rent the site off me for $2,000 a month, if you give me $2,000 to $3,000 on ad spend, I'll just drive traffic and actually boost this and get this going for you. And we can filter the leads, and you can see the leads every single week in your inbox, right? And so we can brand it for you. We can put in a few more pages. We can extend the SEO. But for you, $2,000 a month, and if you want ads, there's a management fee and an ad fee on top of that, right? The average client was paying him $49,000 a year to rent the site. Now, a lot of these companies came back and said, hey, Rick, we don't want to rent it. We want to own it. Right, so Rick could say, well, you have to give me 2 years of 12 months of the fee, which is $48,000, and you've got to give me another 12 months on top of that. So you can have the site for $96,000, right? And then I will market the site. I will keep the site going and market it to you for a year as part of the deal. And that's how he sold $100,000 websites.
Yeah.
On WordPress, some people bought and some people rented. And when they stopped renting, they stopped getting the leads, and then he would go to somebody else and say, hey, because now he has a list as well, by the way. So now he's going, hey, I've got a database of people in the market who have made inquiries about family law, and I've got a site that's generating his leads. Do you want it? Right? I did this with a painting group. It was really easy to do. Really easy to do. But yeah, but a little bit of homework and a little bit of structure, you can go to a vertical and rent the asset that you create. Very powerful. Okay.
All right. Thank
awesome,
you, man.
Eric. Thank you. Appreciate you being on the call, and thank you for sharing. All right. So I've got some questions here. So Eric. Eric, that's a really good question. I'm just going to bring you into the call here, Eric, so I can answer that question for you. Where are you, Eric? Hey, Eric, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay. So your question here
Yes,
is,
I'm here.
I got you. Once you get to 10,000 a month in recurring revenue, what would your expected earn be? So what I recommend is that your cost of delivery is roughly 30%, and your gross profit margin, that 30% also includes you being paid, right? And your gross profit margin is 70%. So if your costs were 3 out of 10,000, if your costs were 3, your profit is 7, right? Most of that initially as a freelancer is going to be net. Okay, so to get 10 grand, you'd want to be making at least between 13 and 15 grand. Will give you 10 grand net in your back pocket. Yeah, that's just to give you an example as an income, right? So you might go, that might be 3 clients at $3 grand a month, or 4 clients at $3 grand. 4 clients at $3 grand a month is going to put $10,000 pretty much net in your back pocket, right? So that's the ratio. So now if I'm using a resource partner to do the deliverable, let's say I'm using somebody like Invisible PPC or Facebook Ad Labs, and they charge me a fee for that service, that goes into 30% of my cost. What I've said to people is charge 3 times the cost. That is your profit. However, one thing that I will teach you through this process, Eric, is to price on value, not on cost. Sometimes you're going to price on cost, and sometimes you can actually get away with pricing on value. And pricing on value has a much greater return than pricing based on cost as a commodity, right? So from a cost point of view, you're always going to charge triple the price, because that makes it 100% on cost. Well, most people would say double the price, and that's 100%. If you're doubling the price and you still, let's say your cost of delivery is $1,000, and you say, okay, I'm going to charge 2,000, then 1,000 goes to the supplier, and I get to keep $1,000. Essentially, what you've done is you've actually calculated 50% on retail, right? Because even though you're doubling the price, you only get to keep half of the revenue. But if you triple the price, you get to keep 100%. So if your cost is 1,000 and you charge 3,000, you get to keep 2,000, and your costs are 1,000. So that goes into 30%, 70% ratio. Got it?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you instruct that.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Can I have another question?
Yeah, absolutely.
Looking at the my LinkedIn, there's about 18,000 brokers, real estate brokers.
Yep.
I think you on the previous call talked about click to call.
Yep.
So how would I formulate an offer for that approach?
Okay, so are we talking about click to call for people for listings, or click to call for people to buy property? Which do they want, listings or buyers? I know real estate agents want listings. Yeah.
Yeah, they want the listings. Yeah, the leveraging.
All right. So AdWords and Facebook can work for realty brokers. So the thing that I would say to a real estate guy is to say, can I bring you 20 to 30 hot sellers? Can I bring you? Is it possible? Can I bring you 20 to 30 hot sellers every single month to list property, right? Okay, or can I bring you at least 10 hot sellers every month? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to target people who want to sell their property, and the only phone call you're going to get is somebody who's interested in inquiring about selling their property through you. Is that something, Mr. Real Estate Agent, that you'd be interested in? Every real estate agent that I know would be interested in that. Okay, the only call you're going to get is somebody calling you because they want to list the property. Not calling you to inquire about listing. They're calling you because they're interested in listing a property. So you can target your advertising campaign towards, hey, get the best price, get the best support, get the best service, list, right? One thing I do know with real estate brokers, Eric, is they've got big egos. Real estate brokers have got really big egos, right? So what we want to do is we want to play to some of those egos. The best way to play to real estate ego is, can we put your face on everybody's phone in the local market who is between this age and this age, owns one property and an investment property, and has an interest in either buying or selling real estate? Can we make you famous? Yeah?
Okay.
Because can I put your face as the recognized expert in selling real estate in your market on the phones of every male or female between the ages of 30 and 55 who owns a piece of property and owns an investment property, who may be interested in either listing with you or buying from you? Can I put you in front of those people? Your face in front of those people, so they get to know you, right?
Okay.
That's an awesome strategy. Yeah, because the real estate guys say, yeah, I'll put my face in. Okay, what's it going to cost me? How are we going to do this, right? I would, to me, the strategy. Yeah, to me, the strategy would be a Facebook ad strategy, having the real estate agent say, hey, this is what I will do to help you sell your property. These are the properties that I've sold. These are the Facebook would be very powerful. A YouTube video ads with a Facebook would be powerful. AdWords would work if you were linking to a landing page out to the market. But to be famous, you want their face on the ads. Yeah?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, okay, sounds good.
All right. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate you being on the call, and I'm really looking forward to helping you over the coming weeks. John, how do I get face-to-face meetings with ophthalmologists? So let's get to you, John. Founding Association, American Academy of Ophthalmology, $299. I just want to read these out. Chicago Conference, October 27. Awesome. I would definitely find out about them before I went to those. Okay, so Miguel, I'm going to get to your question. John, I'm going to unmute you, and let's do this, John. Now, if you've got a microphone, you there, John?
Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, like we're sitting next door to each other. Thank you.
I'm in a restaurant, but it's all right.
That's all right. What are we having for lunch?
Just a little veggie sandwich here.
All right. So, John, you found an association for ophthalmologists. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, I just was looking online as we were you were discussing. Yeah.
Now, do you in that website? Do they have find an ophthalmologist in the website?
I'm just looking at it. It looks like a lot of education, clinical education, practice management, member services. Looks like pretty typical. Advocacy, foundation, about. Okay, find an ophthalmologist. Yes, it does have this section.
There you go. So does it ask you to search via zip code or location?
Find an ophthalmologist. Let's see here. Pay dues. Find an ophthalmologist. I'm getting very slow internet. So, oh yeah, find an ophthalmologist by zip code. Mm-hmm.
So where are you right now, John?
At this moment, I'm by the San Francisco airport, even though I live usually in the North Bay by Santa Rosa.
Okay, so what's the typical...
I can put a Santa Rosa zip code. I can put 95403.
Okay, so just type in 95403 and see what comes up.
Okay. Really slow internet for some reason.
Is it giving you an alphabetical listing? Is it giving you a listing, a map? What's it giving you?
It's giving me a circle.
Oh, it's
churning circle.
It's doing the search.
Yeah.
Circle of death. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. No, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 11. Give me 11 ophthalmologists in Santa Rosa.
Does it give you the name of the ophthalmologist, the actual owner?
Yep.
It
Sean,
does.
Matthew, Patrick, Michael.
Awesome.
Mark.
So now you've got names, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Very thing that you want. So you can actually use a scraping tool like Scrapebox to actually go in and scrape that entire website and rip the whole database off the website. Now, if you don't know how to do it, you can get somebody on Fiverr or somebody on Upwork to do it for you, and they'll rip out however many members are in that group, right? So it'll give you, so then you're going to have every name of every ophthalmologist off that website, right? That could be 1,000.
It shows their education, their specialty.
Awesome.
Office phone numbers. This guy went to UC Davis in 1999. Awesome. His residency in Davis.
Imagine,
certified here. All his educational background.
Yep. So now you've got data, right? So now now my question to you, John, is what service do we want to sell? What do we want to do for ophthalmologists?
Well, I've been looking at invisible PPC and Facebook ads. Those are the two things.
I think for ophthalmologists, because it is a visual thing, I think Facebook would probably work really well. I know AdWords would work well for people who want to book in for things like cataracts and like there's all the different ailments that an ophthalmologist services. So it's really easy to advertise to these people because people are searching for those search terms. Yeah. So you can say, so there's a couple of things here. One, you can take the route or the route depending on what country you're in that I just mentioned to Eric, where let's make you the preeminent ophthalmologist in your local community. You know,
right.
Let's make you be seen by all those people who have a propensity to invest in making sure that they can actually see well or see better. Let's make you the premium ophthalmologist specializing in whatever service. So the email might read, hey, do you want to be the most recognized ophthalmologist in your local market and make you famous, but more importantly, to attract the attention of people to have an appointment with you, a consultation with you, to check out, to have their life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just reply with your cell number, or just reply yes or no. That's at the 127-minute mark of this call. Go back and listen to the email, and shoot it out there. And I would don't go and shoot out 1,000 or 100 or whatever. Just go and shoot out 20 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just see if you get a bit of a response, right? The minimum test, or a variable test, will be a couple of hundred that I would go out to, because then I'm looking for a conversion rate of a yes out of a couple of hundred. But your email could take that philosophy of be recognized, be seen in your local market. I would love to put your clinic in the hands of every person in the local community who should know that you're the leading ophthalmologist in your local community. Should we have a quick chat about it? Just leave your phone number and I'll call and I'll show you how we can make that happen. Yeah.
In this case, they don't have any of the emails. I guess I'd have to call up and try.
You don't have to call them up to get the emails. So what you do is you go to the website. When you scrape the whole thing, it'll scrape the websites as well. So go to the website and you can see the protocol for the email. So it'll be like, super eyes.
It doesn't even have websites. It just has their name and phone number and address and all their history.
So you can actually put that information into Google and the website.
Yeah, I could have. Okay.
Yeah. You don't have to do this. You can get somebody to go and do this for $5 to.
Oh yeah, I have a VA. I have a VA who works for me.
Yeah, so you don't have to stress about I don't have a website. It's not hard to find. Because I would imagine businesses do have a website. Yeah.
Unless maybe some of them are working for Kaiser or some big thing.
Exactly, and there are those as well. But you've got a strategy, you've got a list now, you've got names. You can search in a more affluent environment where there is a bigger practice. San Francisco is just south of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's just one zip code. I got 11. That's just one zip code, so I could. Yeah. Hundreds of zip codes, obviously. Yeah.
Or you don't need the zip codes. You just get the scraper to go in, and it'll scrape the whole list for you without the zip codes. So it'll just scrape the scraper will go and sit in and pick up all the details off the actual site, because you've been able to search. It means that site, you can actually have a bot going in there and for you. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, John.
Okay.
That's awesome. Nice find.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we got here. What do we got? Okay. Eugene's asking me if I teach the simple ranking strategy. So, I don't teach it. I can certainly give you. Just ping me an email and say, hey, John, can you share the strategy I use to rank sites really easily? It still works today, and I'll give you it'll give you a step-by-step outline of roughly what I did. It's a pretty involved process, Eugene. I would pay somebody else to do it. It's like setting up a niche site, basically. So if you want to know more, just ping me. Okay, John at the consultingunleashed.com, and I'll put that out for you. I currently have a fertility clinic client, and I'm able to use Facebook ads to fill free educational events for. That's 100 people. I'm to bring in all interested in fertility treatments. That's my case study. There are many other. Fertility clinics, Eugene, is huge, and there is an association that specializes in that area. So yes, I would definitely do the same thing. Go and find the Association of Fertility Clinics. It is a very big business, Eugene. Some of the consultants I've worked with actually do AdWords for fertility clinics, and they successfully generate clients. I believe with fertility clinics, Facebook is a very powerful strategy. If you've already got a case study, then you can go to all the fertility clinics and say, hey, would you like to fill your events of women who are interested in fertility support and help? I've got a system that already works, and we can apply it to your situation. That's an easy win, Eugene. That's an easy win to get out there. So Miguel, just give me a second. So John, let me answer your question. Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to answer two questions here. First of all, I'm going to go to Miguel, answer your questions. John, I'm going to answer your question as well with a strategy. So Miguel, I'm going to unmute you, and then we're going to do John M. So Miguel. Hey Miguel, how you doing? Can you hear me?
John, yes, I can hear it. Can you hear me?
Awesome, man. Awesome. Okay, so you got 6,000 LinkedIn people?
Correct.
Okay. My only question with those 6,000 LinkedIn people, are they from every source of every different type of business, or are they in a vertical?
Predominantly SaaS and the IT services industry.
Okay. So when you say IT services, are you talking about people who are managing data cloud management systems? Are you talking about those types of people?
Correct,
Or,
yeah.
or server network protection and support, multiple desktop support for businesses, backup, that sort of stuff. We're talking about that sort of stuff?
Yes.
Okay, so that's a niche. That's one niche. The other niche was, sorry, just remind me, the other niche?
SaaS, so SaaS industry. So people who create software for the HR services, just about anyone who creates software for, well, basically in the SaaS industry.
So they run a SaaS business?
Yes.
And they run big SaaS businesses, or they run small SaaS businesses? Big business, 10 million up. Small business, 1 million.
So far, it's a subscription base, like a $7 per month. So it's at the moment I've only spoken to one HR person. He's only selling here in Australia, and they're selling it subscription based, so it's pretty low.
Okay, so you look, if I was going to work with SaaS, or if I was going to work with software, I would look at enterprise software, because enterprise software, the value is so much higher. If I was working with a SaaS with subscriptions, I'd be looking at subscriptions that are $100 a month plus. So the average customer is a $1,200 per month customer, right? Excuse me. Those are two very separate markets that you're talking about. Okay, the IT service professionals, what they want, there's a couple of parts of this industry. There's those guys that do cloud management and Wi-Fi installation and cybersecurity protection for places like offices, venues. Some of them will specialize in multi-desk type businesses. So the best customers to me are light industrial customers, because they've got multi-desks. So anyway, so in what part of Australia are you from, Miguel?
Melbourne.
Okay, so Melbourne, you've got places like Hoppers Crossing, you've got places like Airport West, you've got Ferntree Gully, you've got Warragul, you've got all these areas that are light industrial areas. Like if you were in Sydney, you'd be looking at North Ryde and those and Mascot and those areas where there are light industrial areas. So these areas have hot desks. Like these people have buildings with more than 10, 15 computers in them. Yes? Right?
Yes. Sorry, did you say light industrial area?
Yeah, light industrial areas. So, places have got showrooms and, there's so many suburbs. Well, there's quite a number of suburbs in Melbourne which have these pockets, these light industrial pockets. If you look at Laylaw, Epping, those areas, they're all attached to major highways. And this is where light industry is. So these are like manufacturing, factory, showrooms, all that sort of stuff, factory direct, all these types of businesses, yeah? All these businesses have, they need IT support, and they run multiple desks, yes?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Right, so who do IT service people want? They want people with lots of desks, Lots of installations, yeah, lots of desktops. Access points. They want people with multiple access points to Wi-Fi, multiple access points to hardware and servers, yes?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So the way this industry works, it works on contracts and it works on service contracts. So they charge a fee. The way they get the business is to do an audit. So that's how most of these guys get an audit. The majority of these businesses, they win their business through referrals. Always somebody goes, hey, who's your IT people? And they'll say, these are the people we use, right? So a lot of these businesses, and by the way, they're terrible at selling. They're horrible and hopeless at selling, right? Because most of their business is won through referral, all right? So, however, people looking for IT support all day long. So there's two angles for these guys. First angle is protect your data. Second angle is cybersecurity, right? Don't get hacked. Don't get creamed. Don't let your business be held to ransom. It's not about putting antivirus in there. It's about making sure that you're protecting yourself in the cloud. Yes.
Yes.
That makes sense. Yeah. So so that's what I would be with the IT guys. I would be sitting and saying, hey, if you're looking for clients with multiple hop desks, if we were targeting light commercial industry centers for clients, let's go and have a chat. Yeah.
Okay.
I would imagine that you want people paying $3,000 to $6,000 a month for contracts for your IT services. If I can show you a way in which we can target and introduce your business to companies that will spend between $3,000 and $6,000 a month on IT contract services, then I think we should talk. If you want to know more, just reply with your phone number or just say yes to this email and we can set up a time and show you how we can do it. You need to, if you look at the 137-minute mark of the recording, that's your pitch, yeah?
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So
I would create a 4-email sequence, right? So second email will go, hey, I just want to make sure you got the first email. I'm not sure if this is interest to you, but if you want to target a company that's going to spend between $3,000 and $6,000 a month in IT support and services with multiple hot desks in light commercial areas, let's have a chat. Yeah. The third email is, hey, love to know what you think about the idea of proactively engaging customers that have multiple hot desks and require cybersecurity and also cloud support for their service systems online, and a simple strategy to engage them, yes or no. And the last one is, hey, are you interested in engaging commercial services and businesses that have between 10 and 50 seats and systems and require cloud support and data protection online for their services? If you want to know more, just reply with your cell number and I'll give you a call. Okay?
sounds great. Yeah.
So that's your sequence. I've literally laid out your sequence right there for you. So
Okay. So
go on.
Sorry. So drop SaaS and then just concentrate on the IT services.
I think IT services is a quicker win. I think SaaS, you got to understand the business. With SaaS, you got to understand what the frustration is. Is it users? Is it retention? You need to go to the market and you need to do your homework to be able to target that market. Yeah. With IT support, you can still do the homework, but to me, it's a purchase based on either a need or an emergency, like problems. Do you have an emergency right now? Do you have a problem right now? Do you have, do you need, let's look at your IT structure so that you're not wasting money, and more importantly, so you're protecting your data. Are you protecting your data against your own employees? That's another one. Yeah.
Yeah. Funny you said that, John, because I came from an IT background, and that's predominantly what I did for the last 30 years, just corporate IT support, project management and that. Yeah.
So use your knowledge to get in. And the big thing is they can generate clients online, and even LinkedIn is a very, very easy way to generate clients. But I would reach out and say, hey, do you want to know, how you can get access to these types of clients? And that's where I would start. Okay.
As in call them instead of sending.
You don't have to call them. I would send the email, not call them. Send the email and see if they're interested. And then if anybody opens the email, right? And by the way, with LinkedIn, what I would generally do is I would make the connection in LinkedIn, but I would take the conversation or the communication outside of LinkedIn.
That's
right?
what I've been doing using Skype. Yeah.
Yeah, it's much easier to email direct than wait for people on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn, not everybody opens up their LinkedIn account every day. You know, sometimes it takes a week or two for people to get back to you. Whereas if you go email, if you find them in LinkedIn and then start marketing to them direct outside of LinkedIn, you're going to get a much better chance. Okay?
Okay. So drop the lead gen service.
Now you can do the lead gen service, right? But you can do the lead gen for that market.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they want leads. They want
Got it.
leads. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they want customers who want to bring them in to do an assessment on their needs. Yeah, that's how IT support works. First of all, we've got to do an audit on what's connected here. We need to see where things are at. We need to see your licenses. We need to see your systems. We need to see if the server's protected properly and placed in the correct area. You know, all those sorts of things. Yes,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
you need to do an assessment. So the first introduction is to do an assessment. Yeah,
Yes.
that's an offer. Okay.
Okay, great. So just create a
All right.
workflow for that and then take it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks,
Thank you.
Miguel. Appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
All right. So, John M. Here we go. You there, John?
Yes.
I'm unmuting you. Awesome. Mate, massive market. So, your market, in terms of, if I would say the coaching market, where are you based, by the way?
Nashville area.
Awesome. Okay, in the United States, you have this incredible organization called the National Speakers Association of America, the NSAA, not the NSA, the NSAA. .org. It is it is an association that's been around for well over 100 years. However, a lot of coaches and a lot of speakers tend to coach, are members of this association. So they're very, very visible. The beauty of this market, John, is they're incredibly visible, right? Now,
Right.
here's the thing. We want to go to a market that has money. You know, the old adage, why does a bank robber rob a bank? Is because that's where the money is, right? It's the fastest access to money, right? So
Right.
the same thing is we want to go to coaches and people who are thought leaders in their market who actually have money, right? Now, here's how we can find them really easy, because you can literally find thousands of them, but I'll show you how. If you go to the National Speakers Association website, the Association of America's website, it'll say find a speaker, and it'll say, you can pick genres, and these are people who have expertise in certain niches. But they have this designation at the National Speakers Association called the CSP. So you can actually filter this designation. The reason why this designation is important, John, is a CSP designated speaker is a certified speaking professional. And as a certified speaking professional, they had to have generated at least $500,000 of revenue from their speaking alone, let alone what they generate for their coaching and products and services. So this is an audited and accredited certification that they get. So anybody who is a recognized CSP insignia as a speaker, and they by the way, they honor these speakers because it's a commitment to actually go through the auditing process to be part of the association. This is an optimum target market for you. Okay?
All right.
Right? Let's go to the money. Let's go and find the money. I've just shared a website with you, which is really easy to navigate, really easy to find members. And if you want to find designated members by that designation, CSP or CAEP. CAEP is the highest recognition within the National Speakers Association. They're the multi-million-dollar speakers, right? So these people are coaches, right? These people run high-ticket coaching programs. They're always looking for clients. They're terrible at marketing. So my question to you, John, first of all, is what service do you want to sell them?
Generally, lead generation or attendees for seminars, high ticket seminars.
So that's two very different things. So to market for attendees to fill events, right, for sales, that's one strategy. To market for high ticket customers, that's a different strategy, right? Filling an event seat and getting somebody to agree to sit down with a coach to look at investing in a high ticket program, right,
Right.
is two very different things, right? Because a lot of coaches use events and use events as a leverage point or a leading in point to generating sales, right? So this opens the door. If we're going to put bums on seats, this opens the door to multiple businesses, not just coaches, but seminar businesses are looking to put bums on seats. Training organizations are looking to put bums on seats. You get me?
Right.
So vocational training companies. So what I mean by that is leadership training programs. If you go to the American Institute of Management, I mean, you're in Nashville, Tennessee. I think they've got a local chapter there. But if you hop online, right, a lot of those, if you look at the events that they run at their venues and look at who's actually running the events at their venues, these are potential prospects for you because you want to fill bums on seats, right? If
Right.
you want to fill high ticket coaching clients, that's different. So now it's about imagine attracting people who are interested in getting better at what they do, interested in hiring somebody to help them through, how to sell high ticket coaching programs directly to people who are putting up their hand who are interested in helping, getting help and support. That's a different thing, right?
Right.
Okay. So you got to pick one or the other. You don't do both.
All right.
Because if you do both, then we're diluting our efforts and energy. So we can either go, I'm going to market to put bums on seats with the opportunity to either sell tickets or sell back end, or let's go and target clients who want to invest X amount of dollars in high ticket coaching. So the other thing is to determine what high ticket coaching is, right? So anything high ticket could be construed as $6,000. However, to me, high ticket would be $25,000. Yeah,
All right.
right. That would be a high ticket coaching program, 25K. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Most professional speakers will have a high ticket program like that. So do they want to attract and engage high ticket sales? That's the question that we're answering. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, I would go and get the list, follow the process, John, right? Go and get the list. Not hard to find. Okay. And by the way, when you have the designation of CSP, it's really easy to find these people. It's very easy to find their email addresses because they want to be found, right? Okay.
One might be an advantage. A good close friend of mine is a past president of the NSA, so that might help.
Awesome. He'll know lots of people that you should be speaking to. So reach out to them and say, hey, I've got a strategy that either helps people with bums on seats, or I've got a strategy where we can help them get high ticket sales. Who should I speak to? That's a great way into using a familiar connection, John. Yeah?
Yes, that will help with the authority connection there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my next thing that I need you to do is I need you to put a game plan together on how you're going to go and put bums on seats or sell high ticket programs. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. And I want you to do that as quickly as possible, right? So do you have an idea of how you're going to do this, or do you need an idea of how to do this?
I would appreciate an idea. I've have extensive experience with AdWords and LinkedIn, but again, those are not essential, but that's just a very high familiarity with those.
So if I was saying to you that could you help me with an AdWords campaign to target to get bums on seats for an event? Could you help me with that?
Yes, I could.
Okay, so AdWords is designated for people who are searching for things, right? Searching for
Yes.
things. Facebook is designated where you can actually target your audience. AdWords is improving their targeting. It's funny we're talking about AdWords. I was just speaking to one of the senior reps at Google this morning at Traffic and Conversion, but they're doing a lot more with with retargeting, right? So you can use AdWords on twofold: one, direct applications to the event, and two, using retargeting so that when people are searching online, they're going to see your event or your promotion within banner advertising through using tracking pixels. So you can use AdWords to do that. You can use AdWords to attract high ticket coaching clients. You can use AdWords to fill event seats. But the other side of the coin is Facebook. Facebook is very visible, very trackable, and you can, because events are social, yeah, it's a very good medium for events, yeah. So you can say, hey, if you're going to hold an event in a market, we can locally target that market within that area to attract people to the actual program, right? So for example, I'm holding an event in Austin in April. To bolster the numbers to that event, I'm going to be Facebook advertising in Houston and Dallas and Austin and and San Antonio, because these cities are all within 3 hours of driving distance of Austin, Texas, right? Now,
Right.
I could advertise further afield. I can go to New Orleans, and I can go to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I can go to Phoenix, Arizona, or I can go to Denver, Colorado, which are all states that surround Texas. But it would be much smarter for me to advertise in the local market, saying, "Hey, here's an event. If you want to buy a ticket, here's how you go." And the way that I would do that, I would use Facebook for that opportunity. So that's the thing. You want to sell high ticket coaching. I would look at, there's so many funnels, John, that are available to you to steal or borrow, or I should say reverse engineer, that you can use. I shouldn't say steal or borrow, I should say reverse engineer. That would make it easy for you to go to the market and say, hey, what if we set up an automated system for you to either, one, attract, engage high ticket customers, two, to fill bums on seats. Yeah?
Yes.
Are you cool with that?
Yes. One question might not form exactly where I'm going, but just out of curiosity, given what we've talked about in that niche, would you lean towards this coaching client or the fill in the seat? Is that any personal preference on your side there?
It's going to be what the market, some people want, some people do, that's how they get their clients. They use an event to get their clients. I've done this many times. Other people do this. A lot of people use this as a strategy because it's their opportunity to share, add value, explain, so event marketing is a very powerful medium. A lot of people don't do it very well, but there's lots of really cool tactics. Right now, if I was in the event marketing space, I would go and look at hop on Perpetual Traffic, which is the podcast from Digital Marketer. Go and look at the how Digital Marketer gets 8,000 people to an event. Yeah, because they literally explain to you how they do it on Facebook. They literally walk you through the strategy, right? So you could literally reverse engineer that strategy and say, hey, do you want to see how marketing works to get 8,000 people to an event? Here's an outline strategy on how we can get people to your event. Yeah?
Yes.
So we can reverse engineer something that's already working. And Digital Marketer has been kind enough to share their marketing strategy online for free on their podcast. So Keith Krantz, Molly Pittman, and Ralph Burns talk about how they get. Molly is the genius when it comes to event marketing on Facebook. So you can literally borrow her strategies. She literally walks you through the 7 steps that they use to fill 8,000 people at Digital Marketer.
All right.
So you've got now you've got a strategy. Okay?
Yes, excellent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, John. I really appreciate you sharing.
Thanks again.
So with that, I'm going to say thank you. We've been going for nearly 2 hours. Normally our sessions are not going to go for 2 hours. We tend to get through them, but we've covered a lot of ground here. You can re-listen to this recording. This recording will be uploaded to the Facebook group. I want to welcome you. I want you to start putting your workflows into the Facebook group. Show me what you're working on. Over the coming weeks, we're going to actually work towards just simplifying the process of outreach and engagement. But what I want you to do is do the familiar list, get your familiar list out, send a quick email out to those familiar lists saying, hey, this is my business, this is what I do, this is what I help people with, let people know what you do, and then offer to share a strategy that will help them grow. Or start talking to businesses about how their business works. So with that, thank you. As I said, the recording will go up there. I know there's a lot to think about here, so it'd be worthwhile going and refreshing your memory as we go through, and you'll be able to take advantage of some of the tactics that I've shared with you along the way. As I said, this is just day one. We have a ways to go, and I'm looking forward to engaging and participating with you over the coming weeks. Thanks again, and I look forward to seeing you on next week's training.